Hi guys, welcome to your Friday, June 20th, 2025 daily reading. Let's see what Tarot has in store for us today. We're going to do a 5-card spread to see what is going to come our way today. And we'll clarify with Tarot and see what happens. I hope you guys had a good week. We had some, good messages this week, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to be posting every day, and we'll see what happens, what messages are coming in for us. So we'll see what happens. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you subscribe, you can hit the notification bell so you know when the videos are dropping. So okay, let's get into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We have the fox, the heart, the stork, the whip, and the moon. There's some like romantic energy coming in for the heart and the moon. So the moon is different in tarot than it is in Lenormand. In Lenormand, it's a very romantic card. It's like walking, taking long walks, holding hands, walks near the beach, walks in nature with your partner or the person you're interested in. Sometimes it could even be like the romantic part of ourselves that we want to let out, that feeling that we love within ourselves. I mean, we can be romantic with other people that aren't necessarily romantic, right? Partners. And we can even have moments of romance by ourselves, right? So it talks to that sort of energy and that element within our lives. And obviously with the heart here, you have emotions and feelings. With the fox, there's this sense of kind of taking care of yourself and looking out for yourself. So there may be a situation where you feel like you have to, on one side, you want to be romantic, and on the other side, you kind of have to take care of yourself. This might speak to having a little bit of your guard up. In the past, you may have thought about putting that wall down and not being so guarded anymore, or allowing love, romantic love specifically, to be welcomed in. And perhaps it didn't go as planned. You may have been disappointed or hurt in the past, and now you're kind of at this crossroads again, where it's like you have to choose to continue to keep your guard up or put it down. And this is like a different opportunity than the one that you had in the past. I think situations in the past had made you feel a little bit disappointed with what had happened once you did put your guard down. So let's see what happens today. What is our message for Friday? Friday message. What do we need to know? One more. 9 of Wands, Page of Cups, 5 of Swords, Justice, and the Devil. Okay. See what I was talking about having your guard up and looking out for yourself? The fox looks out for themselves. I love the fox. Not only because they're super adorable. They're like super adorable. But also because they're smart, they're cunning, they're survivors, right? And sometimes we need that survivor part of ourselves to be able to be okay in a relationship or a situation, especially even in a work environment, right? Work environments especially are like the nucleus for competition in like adult life, right? So here you have the 9 of Wands, and again, you have these feelings, these romantic feelings that are going on here. There may have been some codependency in the past. I don't know why I'm picking up on this, but there may have been some codependent patterns in your past that you don't want to repeat, and that's kind of what you're struggling with right now, is you don't want to go down this path of codependency. Now, codependency can look a little bit different in different people. So whereas some people cling and need that sort of gratification and acceptance from the other person, other people sort of shy away from it and they detach and they kind of like hermit, or they sort of just leave the situation and avoid it altogether. So it just really depends on, and they put a guard up, right? So whatever that looks like for you, you already know your patterns. I feel like you are aware of what you've done in the past, and even maybe not only the mistakes that you've made in the past, but the situations, the survivor in you, the things that you've done to survive the situation or to just kind of cope with what's going on in the environment. And you don't want to repeat these same patterns. So in this next phase of life, whether it's you being single or you being with someone, I think that you're well aware of the patterns that you want to change within yourself so that they don't repeat and sabotage your future with whoever is in your future. Because it is a losing battle. And you already know that, and you're aware of that, which is amazing. This is an insane amount of like internal reflection that you've done to get here. But it's interesting because there's also a limit to this, okay? And I'm going to say this is a little bit of a different message. I haven't got this quite before. But you want to be sort of careful to not be so hard on yourself either. We all make mistakes, right? If you're in a situation where the one that got away has recently gotten away, or that's happened to you in the past and you're still sort of, you know those feelings well, and you don't want to let that happen to you again, don't be so hard on yourself. Just make sure you're changing your ways and not making the same mistakes that you've made in the past again, right? You're not doing that again. But you're also, but don't be so hard on yourself. Learn to forgive the mistakes that you've made in the past, because you need to be fair, but fairness and justice starts with you. So while I think it's wise to acknowledge the patterns that you've had in the past, whether good or bad, including habits, right? Positive and negative habits, and trying to change that in the future, and even forgiving other people for maybe having disappointed you in the past, and maybe, you know, however that played out for you, you also have to be forgiving and kind to yourself. Justice has a huge sword here, and she has the weights here. She's also not blindfolded, which means this to me is karmic justice. It's not just about what's right or wrong in terms of morality, but it goes further to see not just the law, and not just man's law, but what actually happened. So if you look at like justice, typically justice is blindfolded, because, and the significance behind that is that the law just hears arguments, right? Both the defendant's and the plaintiff's side. Both sides are heard but not seen, because justice was not present when that conflict happened, right? When that conflict happened. But in justice in tarot, she's not blindfolded. And now it depends on what deck you're using, but this is the typical one that I use. And in this one, she's not blindfolded because this is karmic justice. This is divinely destined, guided justice. So if you know you've made errors in the past, and it's clear that you've made errors in the past, more clear is that you've sort of acknowledged those issues, those mistakes that you've made, move on from that. Just change your habits and your actions so that you're not repeating them. But don't linger in this like self-punishment phase. That's not going to get you anywhere. Don't get sad, don't get depressed into it. Like, don't grieve so much. Don't get stuck there. It's okay to, feel these emotions and go through them, but leave them at some point. Get out of that area, because if you stay there and you condemn yourself longer, the longer it's going to take you to have that healthy relationship that you want to have in the future. So have some compassion. I want to say compassion with this Justice card. I don't know why. Typically she doesn't stand for compassion, but that's what I'm feeling. Compassion starts with yourself. So please be compassionate with yourself, because I'm feeling like you've been extra hard on yourself about some of the stuff that you've done in the past. So let's get some clarification. My other deck. It feels like a reflective energy today. Like you're kind of thinking about some of the stuff in the past and how to like change for the future. So you have the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, the Hierophant, the Four of Cups, and the Page of Cups. And you have the Page of Cups twice, look. See, I always have repeats. I used 2 different decks for a reason. This is why, because the energy, this is Spirit saying, I said it. I said it. I said what I said. I said it. Page of Cups twice. This is forgiveness. This is you forgiving yourself. Yes, also others, but I almost feel like you're having an easier time sort of forgiving others and getting over it than forgiving yourself for the mistakes that you've made, for the opportunities you've let, pass you by. Because you're now realizing that maybe you haven't, maybe you sort of felt like the victim, or like you got the short end of the stick. And while that may be true in your dynamic and whatever dynamics that have played out in your past, I think obviously we all have power and control over the actions that we take. And I think that we've all played a role. And that's kind of where you're kind of arriving. It's like, oh, well, if I wouldn't have said this or done that, then maybe things would have sort of transpired a little differently. Here is the Queen of Pentacles. She's very stable. She's about home life. She's typically like a wife material type person. This is hubby material, wife material. This is someone that's going to be, and this is irrelevant of gender again. So it doesn't matter what sex or what gender you identify with. This person is very sort of home life, very about the home and making a house a home, taking care of the cooking, taking care of like, the daily routine of the family, of the partnership. I think there's a desire for more stability than what you've had in the past. I think relationships have disappointed you where they've been more volatile than you would have wanted, from your side or the other person's side, both. But maybe there was a difference in values and beliefs. And, maybe those things happened because there wasn't a solid foundation there for one reason or another. Sometimes we try to, fit a square peg into a round hole, and that's what that feels like. So it isn't altogether that you didn't take up the opportunity that was there. It wasn't, all that glitters isn't gold. That's a card in another deck, but that's kind of the card that's like coming up in my mind. I think you're kind of in this space of over glorifying the past and not giving yourself due credit for the things that you actually did do. And again, this element of forgiveness and self-forgiveness for the things that you've done. We all make mistakes. We just have to learn from them at some point. And I feel like this is the time, this is the day that you kind of want to more focus on letting bygones be bygones, whether they were your side or the other person's side. So let's get a final advice card for today. Final message, this one. Actually, no. I want to shuffle one more time. Yeah, I felt there was another one. Thank you. Oh my God, no way. I told you. I told you. What did I say? I said, there's a card that says all that glitters isn't gold in another deck. I said it. You know what? I'm going to timestamp it because I said it. I said what I said. I said what I said. Yeah. Oh, and I said it's another deck. And that card flew out. You guys saw it. And I was going to grab another card. And I said, no, that's not it. And I never do that. Sorry. I'm like over here freaking out. All that glitters isn't gold. You saw that card fly out. I just okay. You saw it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Things sometimes happen for a reason. Sometimes things don't happen for a reason. I don't believe that everything is cookie cutter and everything's perfect and kumbaya and like, oh, if it's meant to be, it'll be. You have to put in no effort. No. You have to do the hard work if you really want something. I don't discredit that. But sometimes what is not meant for you long term will be taken from you, whether you want to or not, whether you're putting in effort or not. And that is maybe the story that you've had repeat itself in the past. And now you're looking at it and you're over glorifying it in some way. The past is the past for a reason right now. at least today, at least for this particular situation that you have in mind. Let it go. Let it go, because it may have been gold at the moment, but at this point in time, it's not what's going to follow you and push you forward into the next season of life. You also might not be the same person today as you were when this was gold back then, or when it was glittered up back then. Now, today, this isn't going to be all beautiful and gold today. It doesn't work that way. So, oh my gosh, this is an insane reading. This is probably one of my favorite readings of all of them, because we're in alignment, Spirit. Thank you so much for the messages. And thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm going to be doing these videos every day. I hope this helped you. Please let me know in the comments if this is something that you guys like, enjoy, if it helps you. I love to hear from you, because yeah, I'd love to know. I'd love to know if this is helping someone out there. Anyway, blessings to you. Have the best day ever. Happy Friday. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.